Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we'll be looking at the top 10 worst refereeing mistakes. And these are all post 2000, many of which I watched live, pretty much all of them I watched live barring one or two, and a lot of these were just like off the top of my head or with some research. Many of these came like very easily to me, and the top 10's a bit up for debate. But at number 10 we have Arjen Robben's dive versus Mexico, and once again, continuing the curse for Mexico, loses in the round of 16 of the World Cup every year. At number 9, we have the Packers versus Seahawks Hail Mary, and I believe this is when all the NFL refs were on strike, so like the backup refs were officiating, and there was just a slew of horrendous mistakes. And this terrible call ended up having playoff implications at the end of the season too. At number 8, we have UVA versus Auburn, Final Four. I hate Auburn, so this really hurt me to put this on the list, but there was this call and then a questionable foul call on Kyle Guy at the end of the game where he shot free throws, made them all, ended up sealing the game for UVA. They go on to the national championship and win. They escaped Purdue in the Elite Eight. They barely escaped Auburn. Missed double dribble call. All the Auburn fans were already TPing Toomer's corner. And at number 7, we have national championship game, Georgia-Alabama. Alabama down 13-0, punting in the third quarter. Tyler Simmons clearly onside, somehow called offsides. Live looked offsides, but pretty terrible call in a huge spot. And this is one of the first soccer games I ever watched at number 6. This is Chelsea-Barcelona Champions League semifinal. And Chelsea was absolutely robbed. There's a number of other just terrible calls. They're the better team for 80 minutes. Michael Essien, left foot, volley, banger early on. Chelsea's holding on, but still much the better side. And there were some truly terrible calls down the line. A lot of questionable calls, then just 2 blatant missed pen calls. The last one being Michael Ballack's volley off of, I think it was Abidal's left arm, or Samuel Eto'o maybe. As you can see, Ballack is infuriated. We had the classic Didier Drogba quote at the end of the game where he's like, "This is a fucking disgrace. This is a disgrace." All the Chelsea players getting in the ref's face, and this was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen. Fortunately, though, Chelsea ended up getting their revenge a few years later with Fernando Torres. Number 5, I'm going with the tuck rule. And this is probably the most famous bad call in NFL history. People like to say, oh, this started the Patriots dynasty. But reality, I believe this is like the divisional round of the playoffs. Or maybe it may have been a championship game. But it wasn't all that late in the playoffs. Like, it's not like it was like the Super Bowl or anything. So I struggle to put it like too high considering many of the other games were like semifinals or finals on this list. And next up we have Italy versus South Korea 2002 World Cup. Bit of a throwback one here, but if you remember, the World Cup was hosted in South Korea, Japan, I believe, in 2002, and South Korea made it to the semifinals on some truly horrendous officiating. A random Francesco Totti red card when it should have been a pen for Italy, and then a questionable pen call for South Korea. They also, I believe South Korea either beat Spain. I believe they beat Spain in like the round of 8 or maybe the round of 16. But some terrible officiating. Certainly some home cooking in a huge stage, the World Cup, versus an Italy team that went on to win in 2006. Next up, we have Clemson, Ohio State, and again, I sort of had more of a bias towards, not really a bias, but more. I ranked stuff higher on this top 10 list based on if it was in the importance of the game and just how truly horrendous the call was. And this had both. National championship game. Ohio State takes the lead late in the game. Huge momentum swing. A clear fumble. I mean, slow-mo always makes it look worse, to be fair, but that's like, 3 or 4 steps. 2 different football moves. I mean, a terrible call. Probably the worst in college football history. So this had to make my top 5 without a question of a doubt. Oh, wow. Jeff Okudu, Justin Ross, both NFL players now, so good for them. And then next up we have, again, this was not a World Series, but this is like the worst call in sports. I mean, Armando Galarraga's perfect game. I watched this live. Also, what a shame it happened to Armando Galarraga. Look at him smiling. Seems like the nicest guy. I watched the next Tigers game too. I believe like the owner gave him like a Corvette. They did a huge presentation from on the field as though he had thrown the perfect game. So I guess he at least got some sort of, you know, level of like respect from the organization. But I mean, that is Jim Joyce with the worst call in baseball history. And again, Armando Galarraga, I believe I looked up his stats at one point. I think he has like something like 60, 70 career wins. It's not like it was like Roy Halladay getting robbed here. It was a otherwise no-name pitcher getting robbed out of the hardest thing to do in baseball on the last out. Are you kidding me? It was so clear. And then and he lost the no-hitter. And lastly, I hate the Saints, so to me, I thought that was a clean hit, but you got to put this up there. The Saints, Rams playoff game. Rams, I believe, went on to go to the Super Bowl this year. How do you not call that? The ref's right there. I mean, absolutely flips him around. It was like John Elway doing like a helicopter in the air. That is an insane missed call. Let me know what you guys think of my top 10. And thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks.